very high probability trade for great profits that I put on just last week in shares of Michael Kors. And it was one of those trades that actually exploded in the direction that I wanted it to go. And I wanted to show you guys the dynamics a little bit more closely today so you can see how high probability a trade setup we can do if we just structure it right. So here's what that sounded like in real time yesterday when I closed the trade. Just in between client meetings, just getting down here at the cafe, I just closing a trade in Michael Kors that we had put on actually as an income trade, but that stock rallied so quickly, so strongly. I'm going to take it off here, take full profits, notify Clubhouse members, and that's it. Another successful trade. So as I said before, we can all come up with decent trade ideas every once in a while, but the real big difference between those of us that are making consistent money and those that are just kind of getting lucky every once in a while really has to do with the risk management and number two, how we structure the trades. And this trade was just structured exactly right and again in a way that very heavily favored us making money. So let's look at the charts and let me show you how specifically I set up this trade and how you can do so as well.
So here we have shares of Michael Kors, KORS. This is the chart. This is the stock I entered a trade in last week. I just exited yesterday, Tuesday, June the 7th, 2016 for nice profits. Very important for people to understand how to structure trades properly so that the reward to risk is in our favor. So let's walk through this. First of all, let's understand that back here at the January lows this year, the stock had retested an important higher low from back in 2012. So that's after the IPO, stock rallied and then basically started bouncing from that area. So that's important to note. Now, very important, and the trigger to my trade was the fact that the stock basically started coming into a very narrow trading range just before earnings, which were last week. You can see that trading range looked something like this down here, and then ultimately what happened after earnings at the stock last week gapped higher, and started running very, very, very strongly. Okay, very, very strongly. Now, my base case was not so much that the stock was going to rally so strongly, although the trade that I set up did certainly greatly benefit from this. My trade was simply that I think the stock was at some point not going to falter much below this area down here where the stock after earnings gapped higher from. Okay, so instead of buying calls or buying the stock, what I actually did is I put on a trade that said that I'm okay making a bet that this stock doesn't fall below $41 and change. So it was like $41.50 or something like that. So about this area. So if you think about that from a reward to risk perspective, just in terms of what can happen, I didn't say the stock's going to go higher, although I certainly would profit from that, right? I also didn't say it was going to go lower. I made a bet that the stock was simply not going to drop much below $42 at August expiration at this point. So the stock in this case, for me to make money, could go higher, it could go sideways, and from the point I put the trade on, which is here, okay, let me quickly give you a measurement of that. Here, the stock could have actually fallen more than 8%, right? So it could have actually gone 8% against me, and I still would have made money at August expiration. Think about that. If you were to just buy a stock or buy a call option in this case, the only way you would have made money is if the stock went higher. In my case, I made money three ways. I could make money if the stock went up, sideways, or even 8% against me. Okay, that is unbelievable. Okay, now that is what I call a high probability trade, is what I discuss in my Options Income Secrets course, and we do this stuff in the Clubhouse. People absolutely love it. It's monthly income using monthly options, looking at a couple more.
So that's it for today's vlog. I hope this was helpful. Please follow me on Instagram, instagram.com/steadytrader, and I'll see you in the next video.